Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Making of Success Stories. And here it's Reshmi again. I'm back with an interesting interview and an interesting person with me today, Dr. Maureen Tigga. Today, we are going to discuss about the physiological and the psychological transformations that occur in a woman's body when she has her menarche. Also, Dr. Tigga is going to give us useful lifestyle tips that can help you manage these days better. So, welcome, Dr. Tigga.
Thank you, Reshmi, for this opportunity. And being addressed as Dr. Tigga from you is a little unusual for me because we've been school mates. And today at this junction, I feel that, as someone with whom I have grown up and spent my years of school, if that person is addressing me as Dr. Tigga, it's like a different feeling altogether. Actually, I don't know how to describe it. But I really commend your work, what you've been doing. I've been seeing your posts and I've been seeing your videos around how you go and delve into each and everyone's life, because I believe every individual who has come up has a story to share, and not just a knowledge based thing, but the life journey itself teaches so many unique things. And it is like actually a privilege to get back and get connected in this form, which I never thought that we would meet each other on this platform. So thank you for the opportunity, and I wish all the best for whatever you're doing.
Thank you for those kind words. As Maureen said, we have been friends, we have been classmates, schoolmates for around 16 years. So maybe I address her as Maureen. But wonderful audience, I would like to mention that behind those kind words is a lot of knowledge and experience, because Maureen is a fellow of Royal College of London, a fellow of American College of Gynecologists, and she has been practicing gynecology in India for the last 15 years. So these are only some of her professional achievements. I mentioned there are more that we'll come to know over the period of this interview. But as we discussed, the topic is women and women health today. So let's start with it. Maureen, when the term mental health comes, what is the most basic definition of mental health?
Well, if you go by the World Health Organization, which we all follow, that is the WHO, the WHO defines mental health as a state where you can cope up as an individual the daily stresses of life. You are able to live a fulfilling relationship and you are productive. You are giving something to the community. That is how it is defined. But as I said, that this is just the core definition which applies to both men and women, right? So, what I would like to focus here would be something related to women. So, that is what is mental health all about.
So now the next question, if I ask women mental health, does the definition change?
Well, the core definition, as I said, it applies to both men and women. The core definition doesn't change. But if you look on a practical perspective, because women are going through a lot in their bodies, in their minds, because there is a major shift in their hormonal, you can say, makeup over through the years. The way a woman transitions, the body changes, the mind changes, the way her function, the roles, both physiological as well as social roles. I don't think so any other, like in fact, any other gender goes through that kind of transformation. So the impact is huge. The way your role shifting takes place, the impact is huge. So yes, the core definition remains the same, but at the end of the day, as a homo sapien means a human being, you have to be emotionally stable, you have to be productive. That remains the same. But when it comes to women health, we are more concentrating on the hormones, how it is affecting the way you look to the world, how you take the challenges. So that is the main thing about women's mental health, which is slightly different because the changes in your hormones is more frequent in your body. Yeah.
Actually, that's wonderfully put. Um, so, how important is it to address mental health issues in a woman's life?
Yes, I mean, you have, this is a wonderful question because this is something which lags behind. It is understated, it's not addressed that much. It is extremely important to address mental health because mental health is not just about, talking big terms that, okay, this is depression and anxiety. Even a simple change in your emotional behavior, how you react to your situations. Like, for example, I would say that. uh, at a given point of time you were very stable enough to give a right kind of response to a stimulus, maybe a circumstance. The next moment it just changes drastically, you just have a sudden outburst, and then you realize that why did I even react to a situation like this? So that is the shift in the emotional stability, which is very less addressed because women are supposed to be, you're supposed to be this way, this happens to everyone. That is the question which every woman, like even the educated or the non-ed, it's not about the empowerment part, but it's like every one of us has faced at every stance that, every one of us is like, even our the closest ones, like our mothers would say, "Ki, we have also done the same thing, we have gone through the same, and it's the part and parcel of the normal physiology." But no, it's not like that. What I want to address over here is that the emotional and the mental stability has to be, like, it has to be utmost because you are the backbone of your family. And if you are suffering from within, where do you bring out the support which your family needs? So it, the mental health impacts everything. Like, it will impact your emotional well-being, it will impact how you are reacting to things, how you're dealing with your kids, how you're dealing with your friends, how you're dealing with your spouse. Because if you are emotionally charged up or you're not stable, it may hamper the whole day, the entire day. It will disrupt the entire day. Then the other thing is your physical health. The same thing which you are churning inside your brain, it's going on and on and on, and you have nothing to vent out because you're a woman and you are supposed to be, most of them, many of them in many parts of the world are fed that you are supposed to be like this. It is how
Mm,
you have to learn to handle. So that
mm,
takes a physical impact. That is, your cortisol
mm,
levels and all those go up. You are just, imbibing so much of stress into yourself, and then that manifests as long term things like a heart disease, diabetes, and the list is there, the autoimmune diseases, because they are stress induced. Then comes the daily functioning, as I said, how you deal with your kid. You are stressed, your emotions are not at, you're not emotionally stable, and you spoil somebody else's day. So there it goes down to, from daily functioning to your relationship to your long term health goals. It's a three tier system.
mm,
And
mm,
it's always important to recognize this and address it. And that is why what I liked about this platform which you have started, that, it will just, what I feel is that it will give you a chance to make it a normal thing to address this and not make it a stigma. Like,
mm,
how do I talk out? So when you become frank, when you're speaking, you are actually trying to find out solutions. And that is what I want to tell the women, that it is not just about your periods, it's not just about how your body is transitioning, but your mental health is also equally important. Because over the past 15 years, I have dealt with women who will keep on coming back to you. First will be, okay, maybe it is a organic disease or a thing which is apparent to the eye, that, okay, this is, but even if, you give them the medications, you give them all the therapy, and they keep on coming back to you, and the findings are zero, then you realize that there is something in their head, there is something that is bothering
mm,
them. So
mm.
that is lesser addressed ones. Okay, so
So now, when you mention about addressing these issues, can you be more specific on how do we address? Is it like talking to a friend, a close person in family, or going for medical help? But now medical help for mental health is a very taboo. People consider you as a mad person. Only mad people go for mental health counseling. That has been a taboo in our country for a long time. That I don't have any mental health issue. Only psychologically challenged people. So that is my next question. So what are the ways a woman can address and seek help?
yes, that's a very good point that you've raised, that because that stigma that is attached, that, my brain, I'm not normal, and that is what they, even if someone is harboring those feelings that I am inadequate, I get anxiety, and they will just keep on battling with themselves. So the thing is that there are ways where you can, first of all, you should find someone that is very, very important in your own community, in your own circle, with whom you can confide, because speaking out really lessens the burden. And someone who is trustworthy, because you always have that suspicion that if I share that thing with her, she may get judgmental. She may judge me, or I'll be taken, there will be a prejudice that will be attached. But I feel that it is high time that we all understand that we are living in a different world, the world which is ever evolving, and it is being bombarded with so much of stress, be it social media, be it the kind of work we are doing, be it kind of the shifts. I mean, the whole thing has been changed by what our parents or maybe our grandparents had faced. Maybe stress was there at that time, but at the current moment, where what we are facing is, it's huge. Even our children
Yes.
are under stress. So
Yes.
we have to make it normal that speaking about stress is not making you appear weak. Rather, it is making you appear that you are aware, and you in fact you are a responsible person, that you want to speak up for something and address it. And I think that the person who combats the problem is a bigger one, rather than who hides and just pretends that everything is normal and I can take care of stuff on my own. So that is very important, and this is the reason why talking about it should be the new normal. That is what we are here to promote, that if you talk about, seek help. And we can, as common persons, we can always keep a track of what is deflecting us from the normal. Like, are we getting excited, or are we getting over anxious about things which used to be normal for us? And that transition keeps on coming to any person at any part of life. It need not be that the stress factor should strike us when we are becoming parents, then only. No, it is happening to even the teenagers, with the kind of world we are living, the social media, the kind of beauty standards that are coming. So stress is at every level, even the studies, name it. So we have to decide, we have to know for ourselves what is bothering us, and we have to draw that line. That if something is just keeping us, awake at night, or keeping us just thinking about it and not letting us go, then you have to make yourself aware that yes, there is something that is troubling me. And then it can percolate to even bigger things, like you may miss your school. You don't want to go to school. Like for kids, they may say that okay, it's a very stressful zone where I see all my friends who are in a different, the peer pressure they want to avoid. So why the children may skip school, some may even skip work like adults, or they may not eat proper food. They may want isolation. They may want to withdraw themselves from the society. So these are the changing, the warning signs, the telltale signs. They are heralding that, okay, once a person used to enjoy so much, and once a person
Mm.
used to love something, and now he withdraws. So these are early signs as commoners we can observe, and we can talk it out. We can say that, okay, I see that you are, is there any trouble? And if it is troubling you more, there is always, I always suggest that seeking professional help is the best, and that too timely. Because once you go into more deeper into the problem, we have had cases where people go on to commit even suicide. That is too morbid to talk, but then that is the reality. So if we observe, like we as well wishers for someone, if we are seeing that if a person has withdrawn himself, her eating habits have changed, the personal hygiene for girls, I'll tell you, there's so many girls who would just do not want to look good, or maybe they will just not practice the basic personal hygiene measures. Means that they have some body image that is pulling them that.
Mm.
So those
Mm.
are pick points, the simple ones which we can see. Of course, a psychiatrist, a professional health person will go delve more into the questionnaire and all those things which we have, the therapy and evaluation we have. But as commoners, we should be aware. We should be aware, especially with growing girls, because they have a challenge, the challenge of body image, how they are behaving.
Can
Yeah.
can talking with such people, if we can recognize such traits that you mentioned,
Yes.
can at in the family level, if talking and addressing these issues, can that help? Do you
Yes.
think with
Immensely.
young teenage girls?
Yes, immensely. First of all, we have to win their confidence, because we don't know what they are facing outside in their, amongst their peers. 1 minute. Yes. And you can have, talking it out, making them feel at ease, telling them that this is a part of normal physiology. There is a change in your body that is going, and this is all created by God. It is like a natural thing. This is not something that is putting you out of order and place. You can always uh, like make it so sound normal so that they open up with you, they confide in you. And then once that is how they do it with a therapist. Once you
Mm.
win the confidence that it is going to be confidential, it's going to be help something which will help me out of my situation, they would. So as parents, as people whom you are guiding, as teachers, we can do that. Definitely it makes a difference.
Okay. Now, the next question: when a girl hits her puberty, so apart from, of course, there are physiological changes. So you can maybe briefly share some of the physiological changes, and how much does those physiological changes affect the psychological aspect of a girl turning into a adolescent, you can say.
Yes, that is a very, very important part of a woman's life, because once we have hit our puberty, then we try to adjust through the various roles that comes. But the major milestone is there that, from a person who was a carefree person who did not have to trouble bother about much of their body changes, all of a sudden hits a growth spurt. That is the first thing that happens when you're going through the puberty, and it all starts from the brain. How does your reproductive system start working is that you get signal from the brain produces certain hormones, and then it gives a signal to the ovaries to produce those certain hormones, the major one being estrogen and progesterone. And estrogen is known to cause, it has a more of a excitement, the irritability, the mood swings which you get during periods. And progesterone is something which calms, it has a calming effect, like as you see in pregnancy, it just calms down your system. So those things, and of course there are other hormones as well. And the overall changes that takes place is that your body image start changing. Like for girls, the hip ratio, your height, the hip widens, the bones they grow, your skin becomes a little rough, your hair, there is a growth of puberty hair comes up under your armpits. There's a lot of change that is going on. Of course, the breast development is there into a different stages. There are 5 stages, what we know medically. Like I'm just telling that there are 5 stages through which it goes into your adulthood. So for a little mind to come to that point, it is too much for them to take. Now you have to take care of your hygiene, your periods, every month you are bleeding, why you are bleeding. So all these things add on to the anxiety, and it is a part of the normal physiology. And just to tell that girl that we have done it, and tell your daughters that no, 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 everyone goes through it. No, sometimes it may be too overwhelming, it may be too much for them to handle. So you have to tell that yes, this is a part of normal, and every individual, because they will have their peers, they will be discussing that I didn't have this, I did. So you have to
Mm.
tell them that every individual is unique, and you have to see how your body is functioning for you, what work it is able to do for you. And then all the other problems these girls faces, that all of a sudden there will be weight gain, some may have some other problems like PCOD and all those comes into picture. So we have to tell them that these are the problems which we are dealing in and out. You are not the only one, and you don't have to deal with it alone, rather than stigmatizing, because already somebody would have teased them. So as parents, if we become, or as guardians, or as a well-wisher, like anybody of us can be just a well-wisher, a person who's just sharing the positive attitude, just propagating the positivity. So we can just say that these are just changes, and the body is like, it is not a disease, it is just a physiology, and you should feel blessed about it, that you are a part of a physiology. Many of them don't go through this, so that is a disease. So those things may help them understand the situation better. And what I feel is that yes, there are certain steps which you can take now, because for which they can have an easier, as you said, that can we navigate through this process in an easier way. Yes, the stress factor, as I said, that the estrogen causes a lot of anxiety and it causes a lot of mood swings. So we do have balanced diet which helps. And another thing which is very, very important for our girls, because they bleed so much, so why not give them iron rich diet instead of taking, because that will give the sense of well-being. Because when you're
Mm.
losing blood, and if there is any problem with the irregularity, with heavy bleeding, they it adds on to the, it taxes your body, and you have to give them proper nutrition so that they are able, because you are draining yourself out. In those days you yourself are being drained. And if you do not, if you give them some food restriction, like in the sense that you have to restrict the junk and the calories, but you have to give them a proper balanced diet. And what I advocate as a gynecologist is that you have to give them iron rich diet, explain to them the importance of having things, simple things like the spinach or kale or whatever which is rich in iron,
Mm,
dates.
mm,
You know,
mm,
that is a simple thing. That doesn't sound like
mm.
something very fancy and all those fad
Exactly.
diets we've been talking. But these things you incorporate like amla and all, and it helps. You know, you get a better sense of well-being. You will be less tired. Otherwise, you start blaming your cycles that I feel tired,
Mm,
I feel this.
mm,
You try to stigmatize rather than coping up with it. And that is
mm.
where the mental health role comes, that you have to be resilient. The mental health talking part gives you so much of, when you talk about it and when you're discussing about it, it gives you a lot of, that resilience power, that, okay, if this is a situation, I'm going to fight back by these measures. And for them, making smarter choices by eating, instead of a chocolate, you are eating a date. Those things we have to incorporate. Then you have to eat a lot of nuts. That I have seen many of the girls have given proper feedback
Mm,
that yes, since they
mm.
have included those antioxidant rich nuts and not taken on junk food, the periods have regularized. There are so many issues
Okay.
with the periods itself, like it's
Yeah.
irregular. Weight gain, weight loss, daily walking half an hour after any meal. Instead of sitting with a pack of chips and just chatting it over, you can just take a walk around. You can just walk around, and that helps in insulin. So these are those things, healthy lifestyle we have to promote. With that, of course, there are numerous of apps, your healthify, whatever, I'm like just naming that apps which will tell you what you are eating, what you're not. You have to incorporate. With the same space, you have to also say that mentally you have to be emotionally stable. And as you rightly questioned, that what happens as you transition from the phase of physiology, like a woman when she strikes her puberty, she's emotionally little unstable, because the brain is still developing, and the brain goes on to develop till 25 years of age to really reach a maturity level. It's a developing phase. So one should not expect that that person, she is so mature and she is so immature. No, every individual is different. It likes a baseline, like 25 years it takes till you reach the age of 25. Your brain, or some part of your brain, is still developing in some way or the other. So the prefrontal cortex which we have is the part of the brain which is like, it helps you to emote better, it helps you to make decision making better. So that comes, you have to strengthen that, and that comes by so many things like mindfulness, meditation, those things we
Mm.
promote. So as a part of this, we can also educate our kids that reduce your screen time and give some personal time to yourself, detach yourself from the virtual world, and do some meditation. That I have seen has worked a lot for many of the patients. Yeah.
So if I summarize some of your lifestyle tips, which I hope our audience will also gain from this interview, like proper diet and nutritious diet is definitely one of the key factors
It
which
is,
affects your physical and mental health, right?
yes.
So for example, like you gave the example of iron rich food, because we lose blood, and iron is a very important factor for your uh, for those characteristics that make you calm or anxious, if I'm
No, no.
not wrong.
Iron will help your body to cope up with the tiredness which you are facing.
Mm,
And of course, your hair health and all. And what I'm trying to say over here is that your body is, as it is losing your iron stores on the days when you're bleeding. So on those days, you have to, in fact, overall, you have to keep replenishing yourself with that. So that is one important thing which we neglect. Like
mm,
we say that iron rich food, it's okay. There's nothing, we don't concentrate that much. See, if I give you
okay.
an iron tablet, you would feel that, okay, my problem is being addressed.
Mm,
It's in the form
mm,
of a tablet. But think in common sense that there's so many things on your table: the spinach, the kale, the dates, the jaggery, which is there. And
mm.
I always tell that you can just munch it. You can just munch
Yeah.
2 dates daily, and your
Mm,
job is done. I need not
mm.
give you the prescription. It need not be
Absolutely.
always medicalized. Yeah.
So, nutrition rich food, proper lifestyle is also about how you spend your day, right? Of course, people are busy with their work or education, but after that, how you spend your free time. Are you
Yeah.
using that free time for self development, for
Yeah.
meditating or doing some exercise or
Yes.
yoga, or are you just spending in front of a TV or a screen and getting more anxious, more anxiety? So I think this free time is a very important aspect of your overall well-being,
Yes.
and
And
that
how
is
you
what
are
is
using
being
it. Yeah. And
taken
how.
away from us right now because
Yes.
of technology.
Yes, yes. And how are you using it? What are you choosing to do that? Somebody has to reinforce, as parents, as guides, we have to reinforce that okay, it is inevitable. You're walking, you see billboards, you cannot remove them. But at the same time, you can remove yourself from the entire world for 5 minutes and just get insight of yourself. Mindfulness helps a lot. The journaling helps a lot because it helps you to see as because so many things are being fed to us. We always see okay, that person has this much, or this thing is more glamorous than what I have. But what if you see a half filled glass, as see it as half filled rather than half empty? So that where there comes the role of journaling, that you really acknowledge that no, even I have a positivity, and it has helped. Studies are there, and that people who journal, they have a sense of gratitude, they are more they are more emotionally stable. Yeah.
On the same topic, I had recently read read a post in LinkedIn where someone shared one common habit which most of the great men had, or great men and women, I must say, because this is about women mental health. Like example, Steve Jobs or Leonardo da Vinci or Einstein. Everybody had a time that they had devoted of to doing nothing, a
Yes.
time for doing nothing. That is so important.
Yes.
Nothing means spending that time for yourself to reflect, to think, to analyze, to imagine. I mean, nothing can actually lead to infinite.
Yeah.
Nothing means that time a person has the capability to even think of ideas that have changed the world, isn't it? And if that nothing is taken away from our life
Yes.
for replaced by doing something which we are doing right now all the time, is
Mhm.
creating all the issues,
True.
most of the
True.
issues.
Yes, that's true. That definitely take some time off, and that is when you calm your system, because the system which is always on a burnout mode, like you're just working and there's an auto set that I have to do this, I have to do that. What I don't have to do anything for the next 5 minutes. I just have to give myself rest. I have to my mental, my neural pathways have to just relax, and it has everybody needs relaxation. So I feel that that is how, and it's a practice. It doesn't come by just reiterating and reading what others testimony. It has to be incorporated into action. So maybe first 5 days, first 5 weeks, nothing will happen, but with consistency, that is what everybody has testified, that if you make it a habit, it forms a part of your reflex. And that is why we are here talking it out, talking it to the loved ones, to the ones whom you are connected with and you trust them, and then incorporating these tips. These are simple tips, and definitely, what I've seen, that most of us, what we as medical professionals say, that if any symptom, like as I said, withdrawal from the society, being a recluse, or having anxiety or mood disorders to the extent that you are hampering yourself from day to day activities, like your personal hygiene, your cleanliness, you don't bother. And if it lasts more than 2 weeks, if you see someone, it's better to talk it out with them, and it's always better to seek professional help when needed.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful talking to you.
Same here, pleasure.
I would, so I would also, of course, in the coming episodes, there is so much to talk and learn from you, Maureen, and so many important topics like menopause. I think it's very, very important and a very challenging phase for all women, which we will discuss in details in our coming episodes. And we will also discuss about some of your books that you have written, authored. So, can you give a brief hint to our audience what they can look forward to for the coming episodes?
Yeah, as you mentioned, that menopause is another. It's like, see, the most celebrated years, what we feel as a woman is the one which we get, we embrace motherhood, we get married, and that's our peak. So that is the most celebrated ones. And after that, what happens is that menopause is like a junction where your body functions, your ovaries start declining, and there is a whole lot of changes that will take place in your body. So I am a certified menopause practitioner, the Indian Society certified, and I would just like to mention that it is very rightly said in our motto that fit at 40 and you have to be independent at 80. So if a woman is living towards, yeah, that is what we try to, in our society, we try to educate women about what are the changes that is going to come over the years. And menopause in itself is a subject which is lesser talked about, because people think, okay, she's completed her family, her children are grown, okay, their health is not the prime importance. Like what we most of the people would want to invest more of on their fertility issues or the younger days. But as you grow older, people say, okay, it's fine, I mean,
Hmm.
that's a part of the aging process. But then no, it's not like that. Menopause in itself is a big junction of life, and it is the time where you wouldn't want to be a burden on your younger generation. That is what is, you don't want that, my son or my daughter would take care of me as a woman. So you have to incorporate lifestyle changes quite early, in advance, so that you remain fit at 40. When you are transitioning into the menopause, you become independent at 80. That even at 80 years, we have had so many people, we can see those women who are 70 plus, they are running a marathon and all. Of course, that is
Yeah.
another story of its kind. And but then, as basic, that we have to remain independent, we have to have our own. So we would like to talk about menopause and its own challenges. And thank you for mentioning me about my books. Yes, I have authored 4 books, and it is all related to women's mental health. Because as I said, that in my practice, I found out that there will be a set of women who will keep on coming back to you without any complaints apparent. So then I realized that it is something related to their mental health, and I have written a book, Hack Your Hormones, which tells about, in simple language, how various hormones in your body play and what are the changes, simple things which you can observe and you can, incorporate without, taking any medical prescription. And then there is something known as Embrace Your Body, where the body changes in the various stages of life. A woman goes through immense body changes, so how you can cope up with those changes. Then the other one is Heal Your Past, where if you have suffered any trauma, there are simple techniques to come back and reset your life. Yeah. And you have to I mean, I'm really thankful, Reshmi, that you gave me this opportunity to come and share my insights. And I wish you all the very best for what you're doing and looking forward. And of course, another book is Break Your Silence, where I have tried to address it as this point. It's high time that you start speaking up for yourself rather
Hmm.
than just accepting it as this is a part of a woman's life. No, you empower yourself by speaking up. And speaking up and owning up your problems is not weakness, rather that it's just the opposite. You have the guts to say that there is a problem.
Agree.
You have that intention to address it. So that is
Hmm.
all about my books.
Every book is a story in itself, actually. Story, or what I can say, it's a research on itself. So I can see like several more episodes coming up, each deep discussing deep into each topic of your books. Exactly, like we learned from this topic, from this interview, that women mental health is a very important topic which we all need to address early. The earlier the better. We learned about lifestyle tips from Maureen. So it's very important to take care of your physical mental health. Do stuff that makes you happy, makes you calm, eat well, do regular exercise. And I think finding real friends in life,
Yes, true.
real people to talk to, is very important, which we are again losing these days. All virtual, no real people. So yes, so yeah, I don't want to turn and look like a psychologist or a philosopher, but it was wonderful talking to you, Maureen. And this interview actually proves, like when a doctor speaks, how specific and how medically it can sound, which
That's
we
true.
could
I was
hear.
actually trying to, not use those over medicalized terms, but
No, still, but it has to come from these from the knowledge which you have. So that's what I think audience should appreciate and will appreciate. So wonderful talking to you, Maureen. Thank you so much for your time, and lovely audience. I hope you learned. I hope you take our suggestions, and we will be back again with more interesting stories and interview like today. Thank you from
thank you
Reshmi.
for
Bye bye.
connecting, and I can't believe we connected up from so.
No,
The distance is no longer an issue now. So thank you for this time, and thank you. Yeah,
thank you. Bye bye.
bye.